Denise Ropp with us today. Oh my gosh. Denise, we are so thrilled to have you here today. And you are running the White Cedar Integrated Wellness Clinic. And you're here. Tell us, first of all, I know you're going to share some really juicy information with us on how to stay well. But tell us a little bit about your background of how you got into the wellness industry. Can't hear.
We're not hearing you.
Sorry about that. I got into the industry a long time ago. I was a real bit of a health nut. Grew up around folks that used a lot of the products that you have spoken about there, and I went into nursing and I became a registered nurse. My focus really, though, I was a little disillusioned with the whole medical side of things. I couldn't really understand why people got so sick, and thought that there must be a better way. My focus was really on prevention and on health promotion. And I worked for 35 years in occupational health, doing disability case and claims management. And when I left there, I retired from that, so I'm a retired registered nurse, and somehow managed to still stick in the industry by taking up this White Cedar Clinic. And we started off originally as strictly assessment and education for cannabis. So for the people that are having chronic pain, PTSD, those kinds of things, being able to help them. And we found that, hey, lo and behold, it works. And so we also realized that people needed the other things to be able to help them. Really, the cannabis itself, or anything for that matter, is not a panacea. It's not a one and done thing. It is a situation where you need to put together a couple of things, your lifestyle. So, you guys are road warriors and keeping your and you have a different kind of stress than those of us that have our own house. But so we found that adding things like yoga, meditation, and keeping, of course, the traditional medical, because I think we've got lots of opportunities there to be able to help us make better decisions or live another day to be able to make a different decision. And then, of course, it also has, with it being integrated, because my contractors all talk to each other. So we're able to share what might be work for one person that doesn't work for somebody else, and that kind of thing. So that's where I've been for the past long time. I don't really want to go into how long I've been there.
Well, that's amazing. And what I love, Denise, is as a nurse, my mother was a nurse. Everybody was a nurse around me but me. But I leaned into it. I really appreciate a nursing perspective, because you actually have been in the trenches with what the traditional medical, which I appreciate as well. Mm-hmm. And then also and I don't call it alternative anymore, because it's not the alternative. It can be the way. But I really like your perspective of how do we use both to benefit ourselves the most. And doing the assessment, I've shared with people, they'll be afraid to go. And I go, you have to go to find out what it is so that you can figure out what you need to do, but you get to choose at that point. Not everybody chooses the same thing. One person says, no, I want to do this. Another person says, I want to do that. We can even choose death if we choose to. My mother was in the hospital, and she was a former nurse. She had some pretty major issues going on. She says, I choose not to do anything. Thank you. And I asked my former husband, a veterinarian, I says, well, what does that mean? And he says, 48 hours. And I said, oh my goodness. But that was her choice. And so what I really like is the juiciness of being able to be surrounded, such as yourself, a clinic with clinicians who all have a different perspective. And then if your client chooses and gets assessed, they can say, I choose this, I choose this, I choose this. Now that's healthy to me, to be able to make your own choices. And that's what this whole program is about today, is sharing with people things they may have never have heard of before, because they've always been down one lane. We're opening up all the lanes right now.
Well,
And so, yeah.
the way I describe it is kind of like a padlock. So if you remember back to high school, and
Yes.
they on the first day of school they handed you a padlock and they said, here's the combination for it. So you'd sit there and fiddle with it and go right and then back and around, and you had three numbers you had to put into that thing, right? And if you do it right, the lock opens. But we're kind of like that ourselves. It's not a one, like I said, it's not a one and done thing. It's a combination of things, and each person has a different combination. So whatever's going to work for you, and what your choice is, how do you want to live? Because the traditional allopathic medical system works really on focusing on getting rid of a disease, making the symptoms go away. Mm-hmm. Just get rid of them. So that's how they come up with medications, and you get prescriptions, and it's, did it take your headache away? Did it take your pain away? And really it's just dealing with the symptom. And then there's the idea, of course, of wellness, which is a different thing. It's your ability to actually pursue a bunch of different activities the way you want to pursue them. So if you wanted, as a quick response, a quick idea here, I spoke once to a group of nurses, and we were doing a back care, and everyone in the room had 25, 30 years of worth of experience, but they had to do this class every year. And so what would happen is I would say to them, okay, what do you want to do when you retire? What is your goal? Do you want to play with grandchildren? You want to go traveling? You want to do gardening? You want to play charades or knit or whatever it happens to be? And they would list all of these things off. And then I'd say, okay, so how are you going to knit if you've got really bad arthritis? How are you going to travel if you've got a walker? How are you going to play with your grandkids? How are you going to go for that walk along the beach? How are you going to do those things? And when we started talking about what their motivations are, what they really want, what their goals were, then they were able to go, so now I need to do something different to be able to get to those goals. So do I have to go out and exercise? Do I have to take different supplements like what you have been talking about? Do I have to have a different mindset? Do I have to understand where I'm going? And that's really lots of the choices that people need to think about when they are wanting to create a much better level of health and wellness in their life.
Mm. So what I'm hearing you say is very profound, because people often don't think they have a choice when they actually do have choices. Mm. I like that. When you have a choice, then you feel empowered about your own health. And so let's say someone comes into your clinic, which is on Vancouver Island, is it not? Yeah, mm-hmm. In British Columbia. But you're also doing some
We do virtual as well. Yep.
Yeah, around the world.
Virtual. We can go around the world depending on what it is they want. We can go around the world for sure.
So right off the bat, you open that conversation for people to what is it they want, and what is it they want to do, and what might be stopping them, and what they might need help with. And how many types of practitioners do you have there at the clinic?
We have connections with general practitioners, so the normal physician. We have kinesiology. We have yoga therapists. We have specialists in cannabis, both physician and nurse practitioner, and educators that are specialized in it. We have counselors. We have what else? I think that's meditation specialists as well. So we've got a lot of different people that can actually work on those different levels. So if it happens to be, or the different layers of the person. So if and then we have access as well to nutritional sides of things. So if you are looking at the physical body, somebody that's into kinesiology or yoga therapy, that way we can put people through motion, just physical motion. You were built to move. So how are you going to keep moving? How are you going to make sure that you keep moving? Whether that's from, just not exercising or not feeling like you want to go outside, or just a lot of chronic pain, a lot of PTSD. Those kinds of things can really limit your movement. So what do we have to do to actually help you start on a path that goes down that particular route? What kind of nutritional levels are you at? What gets me is we have our diets and we eat our diets, and sometimes we're really hung up on them. So we get this whole diet culture out there, which isn't necessarily healthy. But if you put enough nutrients into your body, it's not going to be as bad if you eat what you're not supposed to. So the ho-hos and ding-dongs that's my kind of saying, but so you could have a ho-ho or ding-dong, you could have a pecan pie or a lemon pie or whatever, but as long as you're getting your nutrients over here during the day, then you are able to actually, your body's able to deal with that yummy goodness of the lemon pie. So that's the next level. But it's also, what are you feeding your brain, right? So how are you getting the right information into your brain that's not making you paranoid? And what do we have to do to help you with that? And so some of that is meditation. Some of that is just chatting about what it is that you do as part of your day. Do you sleep at night? Do you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning? There are some real physiological, normal things that wake people up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And it's okay. As long as you know what they are, you can actually normalize them and go back to sleep. So there's lots of things that can be done just to be able to, once you understand how you function at those different levels, like the whole idea of physical, and then the nutritional, and then the mental focus as well.
Mm-hmm. Denise, what you were just sharing, is that part of the 5 steps to your best health and wellness?
It certainly is. It's one of those steps. Yeah.
Yep. Can you share, was that all 5, or are there more?
No. Oh, no. The first one is that whole idea of setting the goals. So figuring out what it is you want and how motivated you happen to be to get there. Because if you're not motivated, if you don't have a good enough reason to get to do something, you're not going to do it. And quite frankly, if it's for somebody else, like you're going to quit smoking for your partner, it's never going to happen. It's not, the motivation just isn't there. It's not going to stick. It needs to be something that you have deep down inside of you that you really want for you, not somebody else. So that's the first thing, is number one, that whole idea of the goals and that how motivated are you. And if you need to understand that, I mean, I can help you a little bit with that as well. Then it's coming up with who's going to be on your team. And the way I look at things is you want to make sure you've got a member of the allopathic, so a regular doctor that you can default to or ask certain things or be able to connect with them, because the allopathic system has got great stuff. It saves us. It's created the ability for people who are diabetics to get to this point. So why not bring them in and see how we might be able to use an allopathic physician to do those kinds of things. But then the next part is, depending on your goals, who's the other types of practitioners and your own interests that you might want to connect with. So a kinesiologist is different than a yoga therapist. They both get a body moving and they both open up joints, but how do you want to get there? Do you want to do it lifting weights and using resistance bands, or do you want to do it with different poses or different ways of working out? And that's another thing that we take into consideration. That would be number 2. So number one is goals and motivation. Number two is the team. Number three is really looking at the research and finding out what's really going on for you. And you talked about it a little bit in the previous section here, where you talked about inflammation. That is, if you've got inflammation going on, that's what you got to get a hold of. You've got to wrestle that down to get rid of chronic pain, to get rid of arthritis, to get rid of some of the GI stuff that's going on. So there's a whole lot of different situations that might be happening that you need to take a look at. And that will help come up with what kind of exercise are you going to do? What kind of movement are you going to do? What kind of nutritional components do you need to put into your body or take out of your diet? Or even adding, do you need to have some more water in your life? What is it that is really going on inside your body at a real physiological level? So it's about figuring out what's happening and also figuring out what's possible. 25 years ago was when they first started to realize they could actually reverse type 2 diabetes. Now we can do it. It can be something that gets done all the time. But 25 years ago, that was like, you're never going to have that happen. You're going to have diabetes for the rest of your life. That's not necessarily true anymore. So what is possible? Is it realistic to actually get rid of certain things? You might be surprised to know how much you could actually get rid of if you were targeted in how you set your goals up, how you were actually setting up your team. You might be surprised at exactly where you're going to get to. And then, of course, the next part is that whole idea of the physical, the nutritional, so bringing all that together. So that was really step 4, and I should have gone back the other way. But so starting with step 1, those goals, 2, the team, 3, the research, 4, figuring out that, putting those things together. And that can use a little bit of help sometimes. So if you've got an advocate that you can work with, it helps too if you've got somebody on your team who is unbiased. So, I know you guys, but Greg's maybe not your best advocate for certain things, Bonnie. And you're not the best for him in certain areas, because there's an emotional tie there. So you've got, like you said, with his poutine therapeutic. It can be, as long as you've got your omegas and your vitamin C's and your vitamin E's and your vitamin B's in there for sure. So it's one of those things where you have to take a look at who can help you, who else can be on that team and be unbiased for you. So, and then ultimately this is all about a journey. And I see it here. People come in here in the clinic and they want that one and done thing. They want that, they want cannabis so that it treats their cancer. I can't say that. Even as a retired medical professional, I can't say that. And my physicians can't say that either. Does it help? Helps in a lot of ways. Does it improve your wellness, your overall quality of life, your ability to continue to do things? 100%. I can say 100%. But as far as cure, that's a different thing. So that's one of those situations that would be a little bit hard to say this is a one-time deal. They ultimately have to keep dealing with the other things that are going on in their life. So it's really a journey. Where do you want that journey to go? Right now. How are you willing to travel along on that road? Mm-hmm. My diabetes. Hey, Mark. Yeah, I love Mark. Mark is he's awesome, and his A1C1, his whole diabetes has changed radically over the short time that he's been with us, and And I am so pleased. It's and do we know exactly how? There's a lot of speculation as to the exact mechanism, but it's proof, like Mark, that keeps me going on a daily basis. That's for sure.
So, Denise, your information resonates with my heart. I mean, I'm telling you, having been in, I called it the natural products industry, sometimes it would scare me what I'd hear out there, what people would claim. And I didn't like that part of it. But I do appreciate educators like yourself that have some credentials behind them, that have I call it common sense of everything. Like at first I was kind of resistant to CBD oil and everything. I'm like, and I've actually never tried it because I'm not in pain, but I don't have any condition I need it for, so I don't take it. I don't take it if I don't need it. But I didn't like the idea of panaceas, as you said, for everything. But I do like information where someone's very educated on it and they can help you see what you don't even know that's out there, and the again choices you can make. We are so blessed in today's age that if I get in knock on wood, if I were to ever be in a car accident or some tragic thing, which I have known people to be in, and a friend of mine just went through, is she's still in the hospital, but they saved her. Now I say, now's the time to turn and see how you can become well again. It's traumatic when you go through something sometimes, and then, but we can pick up the pieces and use those, and they're not alternative, they're real medicines.
They are real medicines.
They're real medicines.
Sure.
And when I think about, if you look at the whole world and how do people use different types of modalities around the world, your clinic brings that all together. They're seeing a world of information in one place. When in humankind have we ever been able to do that before?
It's been a long time. Way back, I think Socrates' time was they had the opportunity to go to wellness resorts like they have in several places and throughout the world, but they were able to go for rest and have massages after a broken bone or something, and they were able to be fed well and taken care of, and those kinds of things. And that speaks to the real integrated kind of level. I remember connecting with some folks in Germany, and they were a hip replacement facility, but you had hot springs and mineral baths and massages and really good nutrition. And, obviously you're in a beautiful space. Your environment is supportive of where you're at. So that kind of thing, it is available. We just have been here in the North America in particular, we have been so driven down this one line, and we have disempowered ourselves. We've given away our power around our own health choices, our own health and wellness choices. And so we wander off to the doctor expecting them to give us a pill or something to fix us. And that's not ultimately their decision. It's your decision. And there's a whole lot more involved in that decision than just, figuring out which pharmaceutical to take. And as an example of what happens here, I had a lady come in here. She came in for the cannabis, and she came back a little while later. She said, it doesn't work. And it doesn't work for everybody. So she said, but you got other stuff here. So what else? You've got some yoga. Maybe yoga is what I need, because I do yoga every day, and maybe that's what I need. And I said, if you do yoga every day, then it's not yoga that you need. You need something else. We look at the kinesiology for you. And so she came in, she did the kinesiology, and after 10 weeks of regular appointments with the kinesiologist, she walked out happy, stronger, and her pain was gone, which is why she came in the first place.
That's
So
amazing. That is
yeah,
an amazing story.
it's not just one thing. And I talk to people a lot where that's exactly what's going on. They don't they don't necessarily follow a regular path, and sometimes they don't even think about what some of the other options might be.
Right. Well, looking at your website is very exciting
It's
because
gorgeous.
it's a gorgeous website, number one, but I just need to see the top, honey. You have wellness, a Sitka studio. Tell me more about what's a Sitka studio.
Sitka is it's like a room in our space, but it's where our yoga and our therapeutic stuff, our meditations take place. So it's a space where people can come in, and we do either virtually or physically in the studio, and they can come in and enjoy talking to people and having yoga done. So yeah.
Wow. Wow. And then you do telemedicine.
Yes, we have telemedicine. Oops, sorry about that. If you can, yep. So the telemedicine goes across Canada, and they are regular physicians. So if you are anywhere across Canada and you need to have a regular physician to prescribe you your regular medications or connect with you on any level, then that's they can take care of that. So you can have one place where you've got your file, as opposed to all over the place. And telemedicine is the way health care is being delivered now. So that's one of those things that might be of service, especially to the group that you're speaking to when you're traveling around. So
that's a great idea. Owning You, what's that all about?
Owning You is our 12-week transformational program, and it really combines all of the what we've got here, puts it into the 12 weeks, so you can have either private or small groups, virtually or in the clinic. And so we do biometrics at the beginning of the 12 weeks. We do them at the end so that we can actually show you that you've changed physically. Your chemistry has changed. Your blood values have changed. Your cholesterol levels have changed. And that's so that you understand what's happened to you over that 12-week period. You really do transform.
That is exciting. We have a friend that's a naturopath down in, I believe, New Mexico, and she was sharing a story, and she said, she's a numbers person, she said, and she says, they don't just pull those
numbers out of their big toe.
Out of the big toe, I don't think she's from.
Yeah,
I think she's from Europe or something. It was just so cute the way she said it.
And she described one of her patients as having one foot in the grave and the other foot on a banana peel.
That's good. Yeah.
Anyway, we had fun with that one, but she said it's about the numbers and being able to track things, and we encourage people too with some of the things that we share about. And then I see something called Wisdom. Tell me about that.
Wisdom is our blogs. So just if they want to get on our website, on our newsletter. So that's the name of our newsletter, is Wisdom.
Awesome. And then let's see here. When you were scrolled down there, I wanted to see there's something at the bottom here. There we go. A little bit further, I think. I might have missed it. But is there anything else you'd like to share with everyone before we ring off here?
You know what? We've got a couple of things. So if folks are interested in actually exploring a little further with how to set up their own integrated program for their own self, how to plan their own health, next Wednesday, I have a virtual webinar for 3 hours, and we're going to talk about empowering your own wellness, so planning your health. And that is under workshops, I believe.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's regularly $99, and with your folks here today, and if they use the code wellness, that brings them down to 50%. So 45%.
Wow, that's incredible. That is well spent assessment tools. And I just want to thank you so much for sharing about what you do for so many. And we look forward to hearing more in the future.
I look forward
And
to
but we appreciate you being on the Healthy, Wealthy Nomads Super Show.
This has been great. Thank you very, very much. Just one other quick thing. If they want to contact me, just go on the website and hit book an appointment, and you'll see it right there.
Awesome.
Fabulous. Thank you, Denise. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.